More than 88 million years ago, a piece of continent was torn away from Africa. It was abandoned in the middle of the endless ocean and transformed into its own biological hell. The kingdom of the strangest and deadliest creatures on the planet. Hordes of red-eyed lemurs leaping through the darkness like demons. Giant chameleons changing shape in the blink of an eye. Eerie baobab forests standing motionless like colossal corpses. And in the deep darkness, the fossa, the most fearsome predator of the island nation, is prowling, with teeth as sharp as blades. Welcome to Madagascar, wildlife from another world. Over tens of millions of years of isolation, Madagascar evolved in a completely unique direction. There are no lions, tigers, elephants, or the familiar large mammals of Africa. Instead, nature here has created a bizarre world where living things have evolved in ways found nowhere else on Earth. Today, more than 90% of Madagascar's plant and animal species are endemic. They exist only on this island. The razor-sharp limestone forests of Singi rise from the ground like giant blades. Strange baobab trees stand tall amid the arid land, as if planted upside down from the sky. And deep within the primeval forests are creatures so strange that they once astonished scientists when first discovered. Madagascar is not just an island. It is like a forgotten world, where life has followed a completely different path from the rest of the planet. No one knows exactly how the first creatures reached Madagascar, but scientists believe that tens of millions of years ago, massive storms swept rafts of vegetation, soil, and plants from the African coastline out to sea. On these natural rafts, some small animals accidentally began a life or death journey. They drifted across the ocean for days, even weeks, without fresh water, without food, and constantly facing storms and waves. Only a very few survived. But it was precisely those survivors that changed Madagascar's history forever. Among them were the ancestors of today's lemurs. There were ancestors of the mongoose group, creatures that would later evolve into the fossa, the island's largest predator. Along with them came reptiles, amphibians, and many other small creatures from distant Africa. When they reached Madagascar's shores, they stepped into a land that was almost empty. There were no large predators waiting. There was no fierce competition like on the mainland. From those few initial individuals, successive generations multiplied and spread across the entire island. Millions of years passed, and the descendants of those pioneers gradually conquered the tropical rainforests, high mountains, dry forests, and even semi-desert areas. From a small group of creatures adrift in the ocean, they built the entire foundation for the wild world of Madagascar we see today. This is the story of the survivors, the tiny creatures that crossed the ocean to become the first inhabitants of one of the strangest lands on the planet. Nowhere else on Earth are there as many species of lemurs as in Madagascar. From dense rainforests to dry semi-desert regions, they have evolved into dozens of different species and become the dominant primate group on the island. Each species is a testament to the miraculous power of evolution. The ring-tailed lemur is the most famous and easily recognizable lemur in Madagascar. Its long tail with alternating black and white rings has become one of the island's most familiar symbols. Unlike many other lemurs that are primarily arboreal, ring-tailed lemurs spend quite a lot of time on the ground, especially in the dry forests and semi-deserts of southern Madagascar. They live in troops that can number dozens of individuals. Troop life is tightly organized with complex social relationships. Notably, females usually hold dominant positions. They have priority access to food, choice of resting spots, and play an important role in maintaining order within the group. To communicate, ring-tailed lemurs use many different forms. They emit warning calls when danger is detected, groom each other to strengthen bonds within the troop, and especially use scent to mark territory. These invisible signals help lemur groups recognize one another and reduce unnecessary conflicts. Thanks to their flexible adaptability, ring-tailed lemurs have become one of the most successful animals in Madagascar. From thorny dry scrub to sunny open woodlands, they continue to thrive as iconic residents of this strange island. In the dry forests and spiny forests of Madagascar, SylvaDocs move unlike any other lemur. They possess extremely powerful hind legs that allow them to make long leaps between tree canopies. Many seemingly impossible gaps can be crossed with a single jump. When they must descend to the ground, SylvaDocs become even more special. Instead of running on all fours, they bound sideways with their arms raised to keep balance. This peculiar movement has earned them the nickname, the Dancers of Madagascar. Mornings in the eastern rainforests often begin with sound. From deep within the canopy, calls echo through the mist and spread across the forest. The performers of this chorus are the Indris, the largest lemurs still existing on the island. Their howls can travel great distances, helping family members stay in contact across the vast forest. Unlike many other primates, Indris usually live in small family groups with strong bonds that last for many years. When night falls over the forest, a strange creature emerges from its hiding place. With large eyes, shaggy fur, and long fingers, the eye looks more like a character from legend than a lemur. The most striking feature is its unusually long middle finger. With this special tool, the eye constantly taps on tree trunks to find grubs and insects hidden inside the wood. Few primates in the world have such an unusual feeding method. In the bamboo forests of Madagascar exists a survival ability that amazes scientists. Golden bamboo lemurs spend most of their time eating young bamboo shoots that contain very high levels of natural toxins. This food source would be dangerous for many other animals, yet it appears daily on their menu. Thanks to their special adaptation, these lemurs hardly have to compete with other species for food. From a distance, they look like small shadows flickering among the branches rather than primates. Some adult mouse lemurs weigh only a few ounces, placing them among the smallest primates in the world. During the day, they hide in tree hollows or secluded shelters. When night falls, the entire forest becomes the domain of these tiny creatures. While searching for flowers, fruit, and insects, They unwittingly carry seeds and pollen from place to place, helping maintain the life of Madagascar's forests. Which lemur is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. After getting to know the world of lemurs, it is time to meet the most dangerous predator on the island, the fossa. This is the largest carnivore in Madagascar and the top predator in its ecosystem. From a distance, the fossa resembles a large cat with a slender body, long tail, and extremely flexible build. In reality, it is more closely related to mongooses than to cats. Millions of years of evolution on this isolated island have turned the fossa into a perfect hunter. It can run on the ground, climb trees with great skill, and move easily through the forest canopy. Its flexible joints allow the fossa to grip tightly onto trunks and change direction quickly when pursuing prey. In a forest where most animals live in the trees, this ability provides a huge advantage, and the fossa's favorite prey is lemurs. Late afternoon, a troop of lemurs is feeding in the high canopy. Everything seems peaceful, but somewhere in the forest, a fossa is silently approaching. It moves slowly, almost without making any sound. Suddenly, the fossa accelerates. The lemur troop immediately flees. Warning calls ring out across the forest. A fierce chase unfolds through the high canopy. Lemurs are very agile, but so is the fossa. One small mistake, and the pursuit will end. For the lemurs, it is a fight for survival. For the fossa, it is simply a necessary meal to stay alive. For millions of years, hunts like this have occurred every day in Madagascar's forests, and it is the fossa that has helped maintain the balance of this wild world. In a world full of predators and constant dangers, not every species chooses to fight. In Madagascar, many creatures have developed a simpler survival strategy. They make themselves invisible. Nearly half of the world's chameleon species are found on the island of Madagascar. Over millions of years of evolution, they have turned the art of camouflage into one of nature's most astonishing skills. In the humid forests of Madagascar, sometimes a dry leaf suddenly moves. That is when you realize you are looking at a leaf-tailed gecko. This reptile possesses one of the most impressive camouflage abilities in the animal kingdom. Its flattened body, rough skin, and tail shaped exactly like a dry leaf allow it to blend almost completely with its surroundings. During the day, they often lie motionless on tree trunks or among the leaf litter on the forest floor. Even predators with good eyesight find it very difficult to detect them. Only when the leaf-tailed gecko suddenly moves or opens its large characteristic eyes is the perfect disguise broken. If the leaf-tailed gecko resembles a dry leaf, the leaf-nosed snake resembles a moving branch. Its specially elongated snout and body coloration help this snake easily blend into bushes and foliage. When motionless, it is almost indistinguishable from a small branch swaying in the wind. Patience is this reptile's most important weapon. Instead of actively chasing, it usually waits for prey to come within striking range. Many birds, lizards, or small animals only realize the danger when it is too late. In Madagascar, sometimes the scariest thing is what you cannot see. In another corner of the forest, a tiny creature lives quietly, right under our feet. Brookesia micra. This is one of the smallest reptiles ever discovered on Earth. An adult can fit comfortably on a human fingertip. Its unbelievably small size allows it to use spaces that larger animals cannot reach. Its life takes place in a completely different world, where every leaf becomes a home and every drop of water is enormous. Madagascar has not only created strange creatures, it has also created creatures so small they seem impossible to exist. In contrast to the tiny Brookesia micra, the Parsons chameleon is a giant among chameleons. An adult can weigh more than 2 pounds and is much longer than many other chameleon species in the world. They move slowly through the branches with their characteristic calm demeanor. Their eyes can look in 2 different directions at once, allowing them to constantly monitor their surroundings. But do not let that slow appearance fool you. When an insect comes into view, the Parsons' long tongue can shoot out in an instant to snatch the prey. Despite their large size, they are still masters of camouflage. Amid the dense foliage, the Parsons' body blends into the surrounding green so well that it is very hard to spot. If there were a beauty contest in the reptile world of Madagascar, the panther chameleon would certainly be among the top contenders. Red, orange, blue, yellow, or green. Each individual is like a living, vibrant color palette of nature. What is interesting is that their colors are not entirely fixed. They can change shade depending on the environment, mood, or when facing other individuals. For the panther chameleon, color is a language. They use it to show health, assert status, and attract mates. Amid the green forests of Madagascar, this reptile is like a moving work of art. Which animal would you vote for as the beauty queen among the reptiles of Madagascar? Madagascar has long been regarded as one of nature's strangest evolutionary laboratories. Tens of millions of years of isolation have allowed countless creatures to develop in directions no one could have predicted. Many of these species look as if they stepped out of another world. The giraffe weevil possesses an unusually long neck, making its body look as if it were assembled from 2 different animals. From a distance, that neck resembles a miniature version of a giraffe. But this is not a meaningless feature. The long neck helps them roll leaves into small capsules where females lay eggs and protect the next generation. It also plays an important role in competitions between males. On an island famous for unusual creatures, the giraffe weevil remains one of the strangest creations. Cockroaches are usually not very likable creatures, but the Madagascar hissing cockroach is an interesting exception. Unlike most other cockroach species, They can produce loud hissing sounds that are quite similar to a snake. The sound is created when air is forcefully pushed through breathing holes in their body. They use hissing to drive away rivals, warn of danger, or during mate searching. Despite their somewhat scary appearance, Madagascar hissing cockroaches are completely non-venomous and harmless to humans. Amid the dark forest floor of Madagascar, sometimes a bright red spot appears like a ripe tomato. True to its name, the tomato frog. Its striking color makes it one of the most easily recognizable amphibians on the island. But that red is not just for show. In the natural world, bright colors often send a very clear message. Do not eat me. When threatened, the tomato frog can inflate its body and secrete a sticky mucus that makes many predators abandon their attack. Not large in size, not fast, but through its color and special defense mechanisms, it still survives in an environment full of dangers. If the tomato frog stands out with its bright red, mantella frogs wear nearly every vibrant color of the tropical rainforest: yellow, orange, green, bright red. But that beauty is not for camouflage. It is a warning signal. The bodies of many mantella species contain natural toxic compounds that can make predators pay a price if they try to eat them. The combination of tiny size, bright colors, and natural toxins has made mantella one of the most characteristic frog groups in Madagascar. Even the slowest creatures in Madagascar have an unusual appearance. The green pill millipede is a classic example. Its vibrant green color makes it stand out against the forest floor, completely opposite to the familiar brown or black millipedes found in many other parts of the world. It moves slowly through the leaf litter, spending most of its time searching for decaying plant matter. Although it possesses neither speed nor strength, it has its own defense methods. When in danger, its body curls into a tight spiral and secretes chemical compounds to repel enemies. It is a simple but effective strategy that has helped this tiny creature survive through millions of years of evolution on the strangest island on the planet. Madagascar is not only the world of small creatures, it is also the land of giants. In the arid plains of western Madagascar, strange silhouettes appear on the horizon. At first glance, they look like trees planted upside down. Those are baobab trees. Madagascar is home to 6 of the 9 baobab species in the world. Some trees existed long before the first human ships reached the island. Throughout the long dry season, when many areas become short of water, these massive trunks still stand firm. Inside their thick bark is the ability to store enormous amounts of water, helping them survive the harshest periods. For many animals, baobabs are a source of food, shelter, and sometimes life itself during the dry season. Over hundreds or even thousands of years, these ancient trees quietly witness the changes of Madagascar. But if we turn back time a few thousand years, we would discover an even more astonishing giant in Madagascar. A giant bird so enormous that many people today find it hard to believe it once existed: the elephant bird. An adult could stand up to 10 feet tall and weigh more than 1,100 pounds. Compared to modern birds, its size far exceeded any familiar limits. It is considered the largest bird species that ever appeared on Earth. They could not fly. Instead, they spent most of their time moving on the ground, foraging in the ancient forests and plains of Madagascar. For thousands of years, elephant birds were part of the ecosystem here. While eating fruit and moving across the forests, they unwittingly carried seeds to new lands, helping maintain the life of many plant species. But one day, those giants disappeared. No more footsteps, no more giant eggs, no more tall shadows wandering across the island. Today, all that remains are fossils and giant eggs found buried in the earth. The disappearance of the elephant bird left a gap that Madagascar has not fully filled to this day. Some tree species that once relied on these giant animals to disperse their seeds still survive, but their companions are gone. Only the ancient baobab trees continue to stand there, silently watching time pass, like the last witnesses of an ancient Madagascar, where giants once ruled the land. After the lemur-filled forests, the ancient baobab plains, and countless strange creatures, Madagascar still holds one final secret, a place that even many locals rarely visit, a landscape unlike any forest, mountain, or familiar scenery on Earth. From above, it appears as an endless ocean of stone. Millions of silver-gray spikes crowd tightly together, stretching to the horizon. They rise from the ground like giant blades, forming a nearly impenetrable labyrinth. This is the Tsingy. Locals gave this place a simple name, the place where you cannot walk barefoot. That name alone speaks to the harshness of the land. Many rock edges are sharp enough to slice skin and flesh. Deep, bottomless fissures divide the landscape into thousands of narrow corridors. Some are less than 3 feet wide. Others plunge dozens of feet deep and almost never see sunlight. Standing in the middle of the Tsingy, one feels as if lost in a labyrinth built by nature itself. But the strangest thing is its origin. Millions of years ago, this entire area lay at the bottom of the ocean. There were no sharp stone peaks, no deep gorges, no natural stone bridges connecting the cliffs. It was all a vast, shallow sea where coral, seashells, and countless ancient marine creatures lived. Over time, the remains of those creatures accumulated into limestone layers, hundreds of feet thick. Then geological forces lifted the entire area above the water. Drop by drop, stream by stream, season after season of rain over millions of years. They quietly eroded the rock, widened the fissures, created gorges, and gradually sculpted one of the strangest landscapes on the planet. Today, it is very difficult to move through the Tsingy, but that very danger has unintentionally created perfect refuge for wild animals. Small, isolated forest patches between rock formations become miniature islands. Every canyon, every valley, every cluster of green trees can be its own world. Among the dry forests growing within the stone labyrinth lives the crowned lemur. Though lacking large size or superior strength, they have adapted perfectly to this unique terrain. They move from branch to branch, across gaps between rock formations, foraging for young leaves, flowers, and fruit. Many groups have lived here for generations, almost isolated from the outside world. Above them, birds of prey silently rule the skies. Rising columns of hot air from the rock faces allow them to soar for hours with little effort. From that height, every movement below is monitored. A lizard appearing on the rock, a small bird leaving its nest, or a rodent emerging from shelter. All can become targets. But the most numerous residents of the Tsingy are reptiles. Rock crevices, fissures, and vertical cliffs create countless safe hiding places. Many species exist only in Madagascar. Some blend almost perfectly with the color of the stone. Others stand out with unmistakable colors. In the limestone labyrinth, they have found their own world. Yet the greatest secrets of the Tsingy still lie deep below. Hidden beneath the rock is the Ankarana cave system, a network of tunnels, underground rivers, and dark lakes stretching for dozens of miles. Stepping inside feels like entering another world. Here lives one of the strangest residents of Madagascar, the cave crocodile. During the dry season, when outside temperatures rise and water becomes scarce, some crocodiles seek refuge in these caves. In the cold, dark underground lakes, they lie motionless for hours, even days. Around them are thousands of bats hanging from the cave ceiling, countless insects adapted to darkness, and creatures that spend almost their entire lives underground. A complete ecosystem exists without direct sunlight. Two different worlds coexist in the Tsingy, one of light, wind, and sharp stone peaks, one of darkness, groundwater, and mysterious caves. And in modern Madagascar, this stone labyrinth continues to exist like a land forgotten by time. Throughout our journey across Madagascar, we have traveled through tropical rainforests, limestone labyrinths, and encountered creatures found nowhere else. But this strange island does not end at the shoreline. Beyond the land lies another world, a world that existed long before the first baobab trees grew, before lemurs appeared, and even before Madagascar separated from the African continent. That world is the ocean. In the waters off southwestern Madagascar, the clear blue sea gradually turns into stretches of turquoise, extending to the horizon. Beneath the surface lies the Toliara coral reef. This is one of the largest coral ecosystems in the Indian Ocean and is often considered one of the most important coral systems on the planet. From a distance, it looks like an underwater city. Massive coral structures create countless nooks, caves, and shelters for marine life. Schools of small fish swim among the coral branches. Invertebrates weave through rock crevices. Life is everywhere. Every square yard of reef can contain dozens or even hundreds of different species. Amid the seagrass beds and colorful coral reefs, a familiar resident slowly forages, the hawksbill sea turtle. This sea turtle species appeared long before humans set foot on Madagascar. For many hours at a time, they quietly move through seagrass beds and shallow waters in search of food. At first glance, the task seems simple, but this daily feeding activity helps maintain balance in the surrounding environment. When seagrass beds are kept healthy, many species of fish, crabs, and other marine creatures benefit. In their own way, these turtles help care for an entire ecosystem. Each year, when winter covers the cold seas near Antarctica, a grand journey begins. Thousands of humpback whales leave their familiar feeding grounds and head north. Ahead of them lies a journey of thousands of miles across the vast Indian Ocean. There are no paths to follow, no landmarks in the endless ocean. Yet year after year, they still find the exact waters around Madagascar. This is one of the longest migrations in the animal kingdom. After many weeks of continuous swimming across the ocean, these giants weighing tens of tons finally arrive. Unlike the food-rich, cold southern waters, the seas around Madagascar are much warmer and calmer. This makes the area an ideal place for breeding and raising the next generation. For many mother whales, this journey is especially meaningful. After the long ocean crossing, they give birth in the shallow waters near the island. Newborn calves are already about the length of a small car and must quickly adapt to their new life. Within minutes, they must surface to take their first breath. In the following months, the waters of Madagascar become the first school for the young whales. They learn to swim, maintain a safe distance from their mother, and survive in the vast ocean. Day by day, their bodies grow rapidly, thanks to the nutrient-rich milk from their mothers. It is not hard to witness special moments on the sea surface. A curious calf rises to observe the world around it. A mother swims quietly alongside. Farther away, groups of adult whales gather during the breeding season. But what makes humpback whales famous worldwide is not only their size. Sometimes, their entire body weighing tens of tons suddenly launches out of the water and crashes back down, creating a loud splash and a massive column of spray. In the vast ocean, these breaches look like performances by the largest creatures humans have ever seen. Underwater, another form of communication takes place. Deep, long sounds echo through the ocean, the songs of humpback whales. Some songs can last many minutes and travel great distances. Scientists have spent decades studying them, but many mysteries about these haunting melodies remain unsolved. When the breeding season ends, the farewell begins. The young are now strong enough for their first journey in life. Together with their mothers, they leave Madagascar and return to the cold southern seas. Ahead of them lie thousands of miles of ocean once more. Behind them is the sea that witnessed the birth of a new generation. Then the following year, other groups of whales appear again. This cycle has continued for thousands of years and still does today, making Madagascar one of the most important gathering points for humpback whales on the planet. If humpback whales are the travelers of today's ocean, the waters of Madagascar also hide a creature from a much more ancient era. Deep in the waters of the Indian Ocean lives a special fish called the coelacanth, also known as the lobe-finned fish. For many years, scientists only knew this fish from ancient fossils. They believed it had disappeared from Earth long ago, along with many other ancient creatures. But then, a surprising discovery changed everything. The coelacanth still exists, hidden in deep waters where humans rarely venture. What is astonishing is that their shape has barely changed from their ancestors that lived tens of millions of years ago. For this reason, the coelacanth is often called a living fossil. For scientists, every encounter with this fish is like opening a window to the past. It is a witness to the very distant stages of life's history, having survived countless changes on Earth and still swimming in the ocean today. Beneath the sea, life continues in truly miraculous ways. Coral reefs nourish thousands of tiny creatures. Sea turtles quietly roam the underwater seagrass beds. Humpback whales travel thousands of miles across the ocean to return to their familiar breeding grounds. And somewhere in the deep waters, the coelacanth continues to exist as a witness to the distant past. Each creature tells a different story, but together, they form the pieces that make up Madagascar, one of the most special places on the planet. After many months of hot and dry weather, Madagascar begins to change. Dark clouds appear on the horizon. The air becomes more humid. Winds carrying moisture from the Indian Ocean blow steadily inland. Then the first rains arrive. From November to April, most of Madagascar enters the rainy season, the most vibrant period of the year for the natural world. Tropical rains pour down on the forests, plains, and mountains. Small streams that dried up for months begin to fill with water again. Rivers swell and wind through the forests, bringing life to every part of the island. In a short time, the landscape changes dramatically. The forests become greener. Trees simultaneously sprout new leaves and bear fruit. Food sources appear everywhere. For many animals, this is the most anticipated time of the year. Throughout the forest layers, insect numbers explode. The sounds of cicadas, crickets, and countless other noises ring out from morning until evening. Swarms of butterflies appear around flowering forest patches, while many beetles and small insects quickly take advantage of the favorable conditions to reproduce. The surge in insects also triggers explosions in many other animal groups. Frog species enter their most active breeding season. After heavy rains, their calls echo across ponds, swamps, and damp forests. It is the breeding season when the new generation is born under the best conditions. Many reptiles also become more active. Abundant food helps them grow quickly and store energy for the coming months. In the skies above Madagascar, the rainy season also marks the start of a new breeding season. Many bird species begin building nests, finding mates, and raising chicks. The forests become noisier with songs, mating calls, and territorial disputes. Everywhere on the island, life is developing at a powerful pace. This is the time when food is most plentiful, water is most abundant, and survival opportunities are highest. But the rainy season does not only bring advantages. Along with the heavy rainfall come tropical storms forming over the Indian Ocean. Each year, many powerful storms strike Madagascar, bringing strong winds, torrential rain, and widespread flooding. Branches are snapped, many bird nests are swept from the treetops, low-lying areas are submerged. For newly born young, this can be their first survival challenge in life. Even in the most bountiful season, nature is never easy. That is Madagascar. The rain brings life, but it also brings new challenges. And when the island awakens under the tropical rains, the struggle for survival enters a completely new chapter. The rainy season does not last forever. After many months of vigorous plant growth and life exploding across the island, the rains gradually become less frequent. Clouds vanish from the sky, streams begin to shrink. The ground that was once soft and moist under tropical downpours now grows harder and drier each day. Madagascar is entering the dry season. For humans, this change may seem like an ordinary seasonal shift, but for wild animals, this is when the real challenges begin. Water becomes the most precious resource on the island. The few remaining pools quickly attract all kinds of creatures. Birds, reptiles, insects, and mammals alike must seek out these rare water sources to drink and survive. In many areas of southern Madagascar, where the climate is already arid, life becomes especially difficult. The earth cracks under the blazing sun. Many trees stop growing to conserve water. Some even drop nearly all their leaves, turning once lush forests into gray, barren patches of dry land. As food sources dwindle, animals are forced to adapt. Lemur troops spend more time searching for fruit, young leaves, and whatever remaining food they can find. Their daily foraging routes grow longer as resources become scarce. Many reptiles take advantage of early morning and late afternoon hours to be active, avoiding the extreme midday heat. Birds must expand their foraging range and constantly move between areas that still have water. Even tiny creatures are taking part in this struggle. Many insects disappear from the forest surface, hiding deep in the soil or under tree bark to wait for favorable conditions to return. Some frog species almost completely halt breeding activities and only reappear when the first rains of the next season arrive. In the driest regions of Madagascar, the ability to conserve water is sometimes just as important as finding food. The plants also join this battle for survival. The giant baobab trees make full use of their advantages. The massive amounts of water stored in their trunks from the previous rainy season help them continue to survive while most of the surrounding landscape turns bone dry. Amid the sun-scorched land, these ancient trees stand like resilient fortresses against the drought. Yet even in the harshest dry season, Madagascar never fully falls asleep. Somewhere in the forests, new young are still being born. Hunts still take place. Lemur troops continue their daily search for food. Life does not stop. And then, when the ground has cracked after months of enduring the scorching heat, clouds begin to appear again off the coast of the Indian Ocean. A new cycle is about to begin. The rains will return. The forests will turn green once more, and Madagascar will awaken again in the endless rhythm that has continued for millions of years. Today, Madagascar faces another challenge, a challenge that is happening faster than any natural process in the island's history. It is the combination of climate change and human activities. Climate change does not attack Madagascar with a single scenario, but splits the island into two painful extremes: burning drought in the south and devastating storms in the east. In the semi-desert and spiny forest regions of the south, droughts no longer last for months, but stretch across many consecutive years. The Great Drought has turned already harsh lands into lifeless deserts. Iconic rivers that were once the lifeblood of vast regions now lie as sun-baked strips of cracked sand. Lakes and ponds have dried up completely, exposing the remains of native amphibians and fish. Vegetation, even the most drought-resistant shrubs, withers and dies where it stands. For animals, finding a single drop of water or a green leaf has become a daily fight for survival, one in which they are almost always the losers. While the south burns with thirst, the tropical rainforests along the eastern coastline must endure the fury of a warming ocean. Tropical storms striking Madagascar are growing stronger, with more erratic paths and terrifying destructive power. When a superstorm sweeps through, it is no longer just a weather event. It is an ecological wipeout. In just one night of violent storm, tens of thousands of acres of primary forest are devastated. Ancient trees hundreds of years old, nesting sites for endemic birds, and aerial highways for lemurs are uprooted by the hundreds. The forest canopy is torn apart, exposing the fragile forest floor to the blazing sun and the torrential rains that follow. The natural hotel for millions of creatures is flattened, turning green homes into desolate wastelands littered with fallen trunks. For Madagascar's wild ecosystems, the most terrifying threat from climate change is not the short-term fury of a single storm or isolated drought. The most frightening, silently devastating force is the collapse of the systematic natural rules, known as phenological mismatch, over thousands of generations of evolution. The biological clocks inside living creatures were programmed to synchronize perfectly with environmental signals. Life begins a new cycle when the first rains of the season fall. But now, as environmental signals become chaotic, that synchronization is breaking down. When the rainy season arrives late, vegetation cannot produce young leaves and fruit on schedule. Yet many birds and small mammals still enter breeding season according to their ancient instincts. As a result, when the young are born, they face an empty world with insufficient insects or soft fruit to sustain them. Baby birds starve in their nests, and lemur mothers lose their milk due to malnutrition. Endemic frog species depend entirely on temporary pools formed after rain to lay their eggs. When the rain cycle shortens or ends too abruptly, these pools evaporate quickly before the tadpoles can grow legs and develop lungs. Entire generations of amphibians are buried in hardened mud before they ever experience life on land. Each small mismatch between species in the food chain is like a falling domino. Plants lack pollinators, predators lack prey, and herbivores lack food. The ecological structure built over millions of years is crumbling because the links no longer fit together. If climate change is an invisible pressure slowly strangling the island from above, human activities are the visible acts directly cutting the lifelines of this paradise. Madagascar is not only home to wild animals, it is also home to nearly 30 million people, most of whom face extreme poverty and severe infrastructure shortages. The key to human survival, ironically, is the consumption of the island's natural resources. Agriculture in Madagascar largely still relies on the ancient practice called tavi, slash and burn farming. Primary forests are set on fire to create ash fertilizer for short-term rice crops. Once the soil becomes depleted after just a few seasons, people move deeper into the wilderness and repeat the cycle of destruction. From above, Madagascar looks like a magnificent green carpet being gnawed away day by day by the hungry flames of poverty. In a country where most of the population has no access to electricity or gas, charcoal and firewood are essential energy sources, accounting for more than 90% of household energy needs. To supply bags of charcoal for urban areas, natural forests are felled without mercy. Century-old hardwood trees are fed into smoky traditional charcoal kilns. The combination of agricultural livelihood needs and energy pressure has pushed Madagascar's forests into a retreat with no way back. The dense forest belts that protected the island for millions of years are now being torn apart and chopped into isolated ecological fragments. No group of animals reflects the current tragedy of Madagascar more clearly and painfully than the lemurs. They are the symbol, the evolutionary soul of this island. For tens of millions of years, their ancestors ruled here. They witnessed ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and the movement of tectonic plates. They overcame everything thanks to their remarkable adaptability. But in the face of the rapid destruction caused by modern humans combined with climate change, all of the lemurs' evolutionary weapons seem useless. As forests shrink, the distance between lemur populations grows. A group of creatures that once numbered in the millions and roamed freely across the island is now being driven into a corner. The International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List has issued a chilling warning. More than 95% of lemur species are currently at risk of extinction, making them the most threatened primate group on the planet. Creatures on large continents, such as Africa or Asia, have spent millions of years in fierce competition with many predators and constant shifts in geographic boundaries, giving them wide ecological tolerance and strong migration abilities. If a forest on a continent is destroyed, animals can move hundreds or even thousands of miles to a new area along the length of the landmass. On Madagascar, that is impossible. The island is surrounded by deep ocean. When the climate warms or forests disappear, creatures cannot cross the sea to find another promised land. They have reached the end of the geographic road. Many species here have evolved to eat only one specific type of leaf or live only in a particular limestone cave, such as in the Tsingy region. This extreme specialization is like an all-or-nothing evolutionary gamble. When those specific living conditions vanish, the species ends immediately, because they cannot change their biological habits in just a few generations. Nature took tens of millions of years to carefully sculpt and test a sophisticated biological structure, as delicate as a crystal clock in Madagascar. But a finely crafted structure is also very fragile. A single brutal external force is enough to shatter the entire system into thousands of pieces with no way to repair it. Madagascar is not only the property of this nation, it is an invaluable heritage of the entire planet, a living chronicle of the evolutionary history of life on Earth. Looking at what is happening on this island, we are not merely seeing the disappearance of names on a biological list. We are witnessing the collapse of a great wonder built by nature over countless eras. The speed of change in recent decades, driven by humans, has far outpaced the natural adaptive capacity of every species. The evolutionary clock that runs on millions of years is being crushed by humanity's development clock that runs on days and months. If the forests continue to be burned for charcoal, if storms continue to roar over barren, rocky lands, and if the international community remains indifferent to the cries for help from the Indian Ocean, the end of paradise in Madagascar will not be far away. For the first time in tens of millions of years of independent and proud existence, this isolated world stands on the verge of losing its very identity. When the howls of the Indri grow faint in air, thick with the smell of smoke and charcoal, the Earth will forever lose one of the most wondrous souls it has ever created. If you love wildlife documentaries and want to continue the journey exploring magnificent lands and the fierce struggle for survival of all species, please give this a like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. Every bit of your support helps us continue bringing authentic, emotional, and valuable stories about the wild world, before too many of them exist only in humanity's memory.